What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Talk Reviews, episode 161, college softball episode. We're talking about everything from college softball, regionals, and super regionals, plus our World Series picks on who's going to make it into there. But first, let's introduce the guest for today. But beside me, we got the podcast dad. Welcome back, Dad. And we also got from very first episode of the channel, my Aunt Tammy. She's back. Welcome back to the channel, Aunt Tammy.
Woo! Thanks for having me.
Man, it's been 160 episodes since we had her back, but she's made it back for episode 2.
Congrats. That's awesome.
It's pretty amazing. I can't believe we've gotten this far, but thank you for
everybody. I was on the first. I'm on this 161. It's not your last. So I just
yeah, I love it. I love it. So again, today we're talking about everything college softball. The regionals came out last weekend, so we have done a lot of research on every single region, talk about teams, players, what we expect from each of those regions, pick a winner, we'll move on to the next one. So let's get straight into it because we got a lot to talk about. We'll start off in College Station. Number 1, Texas A&M hosting this one. They also have to face St. Francis in the first game. The other game, Liberty and Marset, I think is how you say it. Those will be the 4 teams out of this one. So we'll start off with you, Aunt Tammy. Who do you got winning this bracket?
My pick on this one is I'm going to go with Texas A&M. You know, Coco Woolley is, I think that's how she says her name. She's a stud. She's a good shortstop, good leader on the team. So I'm going to go with Texas A&M on this. They seem to probably have the edge on this bracket. I know it's, number 1 pick, but
yeah, again, tough pick there, huh?
What's that? Tough pick? I don't know. Well, they've been there 35 times, 23 straight. So they're not new to getting there.
Research, man. Do your research. She did her research. Well, speaking of going off of the chalk is what people call it. Last year, we only had 2 regional hosts not make it out. That was number 12, Arkansas, number 13, Louisiana. So based off of last year, you'll have to probably pick a lot of chalk, but those are great reasons why Texas A&M will win that region. So we'll move on to Dad. Who you got for this region?
Well, it's always hard to pick against whoever's hosting. I got A&M, but the team I think is going to give them trouble is going to be Liberty. You can never count out the kind of the crazy crazy team from Liberty. They're always they're doing pretty good this year. They get a record, and they actually do play some good softball over there.
Yeah, Liberty 47-12 on the year. Conference USA champs, how they got in. So pretty solid record. Honestly, played a lot of Power 4 and top teams in the nation this year. They were 7-7 against those teams. So not bad record for Liberty. So I could see that going up against A&M.
It'll be between them and A&M, but A&M should pull it out.
Yeah, I don't want to say too much more because I also have Texas A&M. They're the number 1 team in the nation this past season. If you guys have followed along on the Wednesday news episodes for the college ones, we've talked about the top 25s week in, week out. And every week, it seems like there's a new number 1. This week happens to be Texas A&M. They've been there for a while. Top 5 school pretty much all season long, 45-9. They didn't win the conference, but they made it. They're looking like one of the best teams in the nation. A very solid record against Power 4 and top 4 teams, 24-9. 2 players I want to shout out: Maya Perez, 450 batting average, 68 RBIs, slugging at 836. Plus on the pitching side, Emily Kennedy, 2.68 ERA, 20-4 record, a batting average of 191. So I think that duo of solid hitting and solid pitching is huge in the regionals, and I think that's the reason why Texas A&M makes it out of this one. So nothing too crazy here from the first bracket for the 3 of us. We'll move on to the second bracket, which is in Norman, Oklahoma, where we have the reigning national champions, the 4-time national champions, hosting another region. They're number 2 in the overall seeding. They'll have to face Omaha in the first round. Plus, we have Cal and Boston University in this one. Aunt Tammy started off for us.
Yeah, I have Oklahoma, but I think Omaha may give them some trouble. Yes. Did I have that right? Yeah, Omaha would give them trouble, I think, in this bracket. With Omaha, they have the best fielding team, as it's noted, but Oklahoma, I mean, 4-time defending national champs, It's hard to pick against them in this particular bracket. Boston U, they won the conference, but and then I'm not confident at all with Bears. I'm sorry. Even, I listened to some of the talk with the coach, and it didn't even sound like the coach was confident, unfortunately. And so that's not what you want. But definitely I'll go with Oklahoma on this one.
All right. Reigning champs making it out. Dad, what do you got?
I also have Oklahoma. They're like the co-winners of the SEC tournament, right?
Yeah, very weird situation with that one. It was them and
A&M.
was it A&M that made
They
it?
got rained out,
Yeah.
so they were co-champs or co-winners of the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
I have Oklahoma. Yeah, it's hard to go against the kind of reigning champions that are out there. They're not as dominant as they used to be, but they still should get out of the regionals.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also have Oklahoma again. Another clean sweep with the host making it out. Big thing is 45-7, 4-time champs, back to back to back to back. It's hard not to at least get them out of the region for this one, especially because they're hosting. They had a great season when it came to scheduling, put a lot of hard opponents in there, had a lot of good wins, honestly a lot of good losses too in their 24-6 record. When I was looking at the Power Four and good teams, started out the season 28-0. So this team knows how to win. They're very good. They ended out the season 17-7, so a little bit of a slide, but conference play this year in the SEC was outstanding. A lot of good teams coming out of that conference. So I got Oklahoma. Really not much more to talk about with them. Then we head to Gainesville, where we have Florida hosting this one. They are the number 3 seed overall. They'll have to face Mercer in the first round. Plus, we get Florida Atlantic and Georgia Tech in this region. So, Ann and Tammy started off for us.
Yes. I I believe that Mercer may be able to pull off an upset.
Oh,
Yep. I know that's a reach. I know. 38-24, it's a reach for Florida. I get it. I don't know. They've just been on a streak here. I did mark Florida. But and then the Mercer Bears are on a roll. It's their first time to the championship. Hey, what better thing than just having that excitement of the team that's really coming together right now. This one's a hard one for me. But I think I have to. I'll go with Florida because that's where I marked. But I wouldn't be surprised if it was an upset. I know that's a stretch.
so Mercer potentially upsetting Florida, but Florida is the official pick.
That's correct.
All right. What do you got, Dad?
I've got Florida. It's hard to go against any SEC school, especially if they're
This year.
Yeah, this
for
year.
sure.
They're really. It's been a really good, dominant. They've been dominating in college softball this year. That conference. Most of the teams, most of the top teams are out of that conference, and that's the one actually I've watched most. The SEC. That's more like I watch them on the weekend in the morning, first wake up, and those are I watch a lot of East Coast teams more than the West Coast just because of the time difference. Florida's good. I watched them play a few times here, and I got them coming out of the region.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I think it's actually going to be a battle between the two Florida schools. I think the Gators and the Owls. I think the Owls are a team that we could watch out for. 44-10 on the season, went 5-2 against solid teams, the Power Four and top ranked teams in the country. Players I noted and looked at, though, they have a girl who just hit singles, Bella Ferran, 420 batting average, but she's on base 461. So rely on her to get on base. Another girl that's on there, the pitcher, Courtney, Autumn Courtney, I believe is her name, or Courtney Auburn. I'll correct myself. Sorry for that. 1.8 ERA, 23-3 record on the season, a whip under 1, and a 156 opponent batting average. I think there's a good chance that they get a win against the Gators if they face them. So I think the Gators are going to have to battle with a loss in their record. I still think the Gators get out of it. The SEC is very tough, but I think the Owls are the team that really kind of puts a lot of maybe that's getting out of the region kind of thing. So a little scary upset there with the Owls, but I think Florida still gets out of the region for me. So another solid agreement. regional host getting out for us. Then we head to Fayetteville, Arkansas, where the number 4 seed Arkansas hosts this one. They'll face Indiana in the first round, and the other game will be Oklahoma State versus St. Louis. Aunt Tammy, start it off for us.
Yeah, I have Arkansas on this one. SEC, obviously the Razorbacks. So, and then for the yeah, so Arkansas is playing St. Louis, right? Yes.
Yeah, apologies. Yeah, my bad.
Yeah. Okay. I because I was trying to.
No, yeah, I
I
said that
think
one incorrectly.
Indiana. Yeah. So I think Arkansas is going to pull it out. That's my pick.
All right. Dad.
I like Oklahoma State.
All right.
I think Oklahoma State's coming out. And Arkansas is going to lose after hosting another regional this year.
Whoa.
Interesting. So Big 12, obviously Arizona State fan, both alumni. You're wearing the ASU hat. I follow ASU a lot. I follow the Big 12 even more because ASU is in that. Knowing Oklahoma State this year, very up and down season for them. Started off the season in the top 25. We're in and out, lower top of the top 25 rankings. Ended off the season, I don't think, in the top 25. So they really kind of struggled there. Lost a close game in the tournament. Just couldn't get the offense going. The pitching is really not the problem with Oklahoma State. It's the inconsistency of the offense. So what kind of offense are we going to see coming out of this region? I hope for the sake of the Big 12, we get a solid offense from the Cowgirl team, but I really don't think so. I'm going to take Arkansas on this one. We already mentioned the SEC being very tough. I think Arkansas gets out of it, but if we see an offense that's really buzzing for the Cowgirls, I think we could see an Oklahoma State team getting out of there because I don't think pitching is going to be their problem. It's going to be how can that offense answer for whoever they're facing. So
Arkansas has the best scoring right now. How do you start your offense in the national championship tournament? We'll see.
Yeah, only time will tell at this point.
That's right.
Next up, we head to Tallahassee, where Florida State hosts this on the 5 seed in this one. They'll have to face South Florida, or excuse me, Robert Morris, and the other two will be South Florida and Auburn. Aunt Tammy started off for us here.
I got both Floridas on this one, but I'm pulling it out with Florida State. But I also think South Florida is gonna upset Auburn for sure. That's my pick.
No, I like Florida State. I've seen them a few times this year. They've had a few good years over the past couple of years here. I have Florida State.
Yeah, so Florida State last year was my big team. I said if Oklahoma was going to lose in the national championship and in that College World Series, Florida State's going to be that team. They actually faced those two together. Unfortunately, it did not go the Seminoles' way. So those are my girls there. I like the Seminoles a lot. I think they make it out of the region without really any problem. I think Auburn might give them a little bit because it's the SEC there. They have a lot of good teams they faced, but they lost a lot of those games to those good teams. So I think Florida State gets it. A lot of great players. I think pitching staff, good little tandem between Jazzy Francic and Ashton Danley. Good little tandem between those two. They split the mound a lot, both with a sub-2 ERA. So I think both of those girls are going to have a pretty good regional. And if one has a problem, the other one I think is going to pretty much balance it out. So I think there's going to be a lot of good upside here to Florida State. So I don't think there's going to be a problem here. I think Florida State gets out of the region. All right, next up, we head to Austin, Texas, where the 6th seed Texas Longhorns host this one. They're going to face Eastern Illinois, with the other two teams being UCF and Michigan. And Tammy, start off for us.
Yeah. So I went with Texas Longhorns on this one, with Michigan being a threat. Let me see. Yep. That's all I have on that one. The fact that they've been there 25 times, 20 straight, those are just impressive numbers when they continue to get back to that tournament. Yeah. So they know what to expect. They know the environment. So I went with Texas on this one.
Yeah, they're a good, solid team. Like Texas. Also like UCF. I mean, just because we've seen them a lot over the last few years. with your friend, being on the team before. So
Oh yeah.
so we've seen them a lot, so I'm a little more familiar with UCF, but I do have Texas coming out of the region.
Mhm.
I think this is actually a very tough region. I don't think Texas is a cakewalk in this region here. Michigan had a great run, won the Big Ten, who nobody really expected, especially with Oregon and UCLA being in that conference this season. No one expected them. They stopped Purdue, who was having a good run, who a lot of people expected to be in the tournament. Unfortunately, was one of the first four not to make the tournament. So that's tough for the Boilermakers. But the Wolverines went on a great run. I think that's not going to be an easy team for this region here. So Michigan could be a team that gets out of here. I got Texas as well. I think the Longhorns, based off of the history that they've had, have been very consistent, and they're always seem to be making the super regional. So I think they definitely make a super regional here. But Michigan, I'm going to say watch out for. If UCF's, it, it's hard to say with UCF because I've watched them all season long.
They need to hit,
and they're struggling with the inconsistencies too. I mean, I don't know who, can't remember who I was mentioning before. Oklahoma State, another Big 12 school that's been inconsistent with the hitting. So if UCF could come out with hitting, they can also make it out of the region. So I think there's 3 teams here. Unfortunately, Eastern Illinois is not one of those teams that is going to make it out of this region. But I think those other 3 teams has a great chance to make it out of this region. I officially have picked Texas, but I would not be surprised if any 3 of those teams.
You just pump the tires of Michigan for 5 minutes, then you go with Texas.
I'm just saying. I mean, how
Michigan
do you not go with
mine too? Yeah.
the SECs look so good all year long. The Texas Longhorns have been right up there with Oklahoma when it came to them going to the new conference. They're still battling for top spot in the conference, even with a new conference in the SEC. It's hard not to pick Texas for me, but I just saying, if I'm gonna pick anybody to upset, I think Michigan would be my upset because I think it's a really, really hard region to get out of. But that's my official pick.
Okay.
All right, we head to the 7C. Tennessee hosting. We're going to head to Knoxville. Tennessee will have to face Miami of Ohio. The other 2 teams, North Carolina and Ohio State. And Tammy, start off for us.
Oh man, go Vols! Tennessee Vols. A shout out to the Vols. Yeah, North Carolina, Kat Rodriguez, 83 RBIs. She's the leader. This was a tough one for me. My pick is Tennessee. But man, North Carolina. Yeah, I don't know. This was a tough one for me. Although not considered a tough bracket or what they call them, but for me it was a tough one. They've got some great records. The Tennessee, Ohio State, North Carolina, they can all pull it out. But my pick was Tennessee.
I agree with that. It's not my turn, but I will say I agree with what she's saying there. I'll let you go though.
Okay. That's an easier pick for me. Tennessee is one of my favorite teams in the tournament. I like Tennessee a lot. I do. They got strong pitching. I like the way they play. I like Tennessee a lot. So I have them coming out. So I had them.
Yeah, the pitching that I had right down for Tennessee. I think it's Carlin is how you say it. Carlin Pickens.
Yep.
Sub 1 ERA, 20-8 record, a .89 WHIP, voting batting average of 168, 231 strikeouts on the season. So yeah, she's been dealing it this year. So definitely, yeah, they're the star pitching there. I will say I like Ohio State a lot out of this one. I think they're another team that I think could upset. The one big player that they have, Jasmine Burns, batting .467, OPS of over 1,500, slugging over 1,000. Her on base percentage is at .553, 23 home runs, 70 RBIs, and 29 walks. So either she's getting on base by walking or she's crushing the ball. It's one of the two. She doesn't hit a lot of singles. It's a lot of extra base hits for her. So watch out for Jasmine Burns in this regional. I still have Tennessee. I know I'm pumping the tires of the Big Ten here. The Big Ten had to face a lot of good teams this year. Ohio State had a really good record against good teams this year, 21-12-1. So I think, actually, apologies. You guys convinced me to pick Tennessee. I have right here Ohio State. I'm going to go back to my original pick. I have Ohio State coming out of this region. I'm changing my pick. I got Ohio State making it out of this region. So that's
Well, you're a fan of Ohio State, so
go Buckeyes, baby. Go Buckeyes.
It's a football school.
And
yeah, I know.
All right, we head to Columbia, South Carolina, where the Gamecocks host this one as the 8th seed. They have to face Elon, excuse me, and the other two teams is Virginia and North Florida. And Tammy started off.
Yeah, I got South Carolina, but I think North Florida is going to be a contender. I know it's their first trip, but they will be a contender for sure. So, but my pick is South Carolina.
All right.
North Florida. I didn't know there was a North Florida, to be honest with you.
When the bracket dropped, I was like, who the hell's North Florida?
And I think I've heard of Elon one time just because I thought, oh, Elon Musk, there's a university named Elon. Other than that, I know Virginia and I know South Carolina. I have South Carolina coming out.
So it sounds like an easy bracket for South Carolina in your eyes.
Yeah.
Talking about North Florida, they have a dual player here. Allison Benning. Did you hear about this player, Aunt Tammy?
Mm-mm.
She's batting over 400, 19 home runs, 50 RBIs. She also pitches. She has a 1.51 ERA, 153 innings pitched, and a 24-5 record. So if she's on,
see,
watch out. North Florida might actually do something in this region.
Yep.
So definitely a all-star player to keep your eye out on. Especially if she's not, I don't know if she's a senior or not. So maybe transfer portal, bigger school, who knows? She does a lot there for this region here. But I got South Carolina. I think it's going to be overall pretty easy bracket for them. I don't really think there's going to be too many upsets here, but I would say watch out for that North Florida girl. She's a very good player. I would not be surprised if she starred a lot in this region. All right, we head to the 9 seed UCLA hosting this one in Los Angeles, California. They're going to have to face UC Santa Barbara. The other two teams, we got the Arizona State Sun Devils, of course, and the San Diego State Aztecs. And Tammy, start it off.
Go Sun Devils. Yay. They made it at large. They were asked to join, right?
Finally.
See, that's enough for me. No. I do have UCLA. Come on.
What? Pumping all the tires. She pumped the tires.
I was happy to see them there. 12-time national champs, 32 trips in 42 years, 26 straight. UCLA, Big Ten, they know this. So that's my pick. They got Jordan Woolery, who also has a high RBI percentage.
Yeah, 20 home runs, 75 RBI.
And then Megan, I didn't grab her last name, big hitter, I believe.
I'll pop up her name on the screen for you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, what you got here?
Man, it's always hard to not pick the Sun Devils, but I think UCLA is a stronger team. Even though, a couple of games I've watched for them today, the couple of games I watched, they had a hard time scoring some runs. But I do have UCLA coming out of it. I mean, I want to pick the Devils, but I just want to be more accurate, gotta pick with my head, not my heart on this one.
I get that.
I understand. ASU, we're going to pump the tires right now. I'm an alumni. I went to school with all these girls. I watched them the last 2 years being there. So I know a lot of the players on how they develop and stuff like that. Tanya Wendell, 368 batting average, OPS of 949, 3 home runs, so not a real big power hitter, 22 RBI, which seems like she's always on base. She does a lot in the field as well, so really good defensive fielder there. Kenzie Brown, one of the best pitchers in the nation, a 1.29 ERA, 19-6 record on the year, 265 strikeouts. She broke a lot of ASU records this year with her pitching. She's a senior, so it's going to be a big last ride here for her. So those are two players to watch out for the Sun Devils. 35-19 record. Honestly, not that bad this year, especially from last year, which was a horrendous season for the Sun Devils to try and watch that. So a lot of good wins here looking at it. They hosted a lot of big games to start out the season. Really kind of developed a really good team for this season. The tournament, though, did not end well. They got smoked in the second round by Texas Tech, 18-0. So what kind of offense are we going to see? What kind of pitching are we going to see? Are we going to see inconsistency from ASU? We already mentioned UCLA. They're a great team. They're a powerhouse. They've been at the top 10 all season long. Give me the Sun Devils.
Oh, okay.
I got ASU getting out of this one. I think the Kenzie Brown, knowing it's going to be her last games here, she's going to go all out here. Tanya Wendell is going to kill it. Kelsey Hall, she's also a senior, the only other senior on the team. She's been hitting great. She's only a DH. So I think it's going to be a very good region for Brown and Hall. I think ASU gets out of this one, but I think it goes to the max amount of games. I think UCLA gets a loss. ASU gets a loss. They play a winner take all.
They're playing on Sunday, huh?
They're playing on Sunday. I think ASU gets a
Woo!
little bit
You
of
talked that one up, Miles. Why? Good way to go.
I got a root for my girls.
That's right.
Got a root for my girls.
All right.
All right, we head to Baton Rouge where LSU hosts this one. They're the 10 seed of the overall bracket for them. They will have to face Southeastern Louisiana.
This is the hardest bracket.
And UConn will be facing Nebraska. And Tammy started off.
Yeah, this is the hardest bracket. So yeah, it's LSU. They've got Tori Edwards. They got the two strong pitchers. Again, 26 trips, 19 straight. Tigers pull it out. It is one of the toughest brackets, though. I see.
Who gives them a run?
Nebraska.
UConn is their first trip since what, 24 years. They haven't been there in 24 years. UConn. I think Nebraska would be their toughest, but anyway, LSU's my pick.
All right. Dad.
Pitcher's gonna do it.
Like I said, who's gonna be the hardest time?
Oh,
Nebraska.
That's emotional pick.
No, it's not.
You're picking for your boyfriend at work.
They actually got a good pitcher over there. I don't know her name, but they got a good pitching staff over there.
Is her name Jordy Ball?
I don't know. I know they got a good pitcher.
I'm guessing it's probably Jordy Ball.
So I'm picking on. This is one of my upsets, I guess. If they're not hosting, one of the upset picks coming out, one of the non-hosts losing. I have Nebraska winning this one. Yeah, and I do know someone that's a big Nebraska fan. Go Darren. So yeah, go Big Red. Go Big Red.
The girl you're talking about, Jordy Ball, she pitches and she hits very well. 19 home runs, 59 RBIs, a 4.58 batting average.
Whoa.
Pitching wise, 23-6, a 1.57 ERA, potting batting average of 156. So that is the stud that you were talking about. I don't think this is a very hard bracket for LSU. I think LSU gets out of it, no problem. I think that might be a hot take that I don't think Nebraska is going to do much here, but I think LSU is going to take care of it. Tori Edwards, that's the girl you got to watch out for the Tigers. I think she does great this region. LSU gets it done. No more comments for me. All right, let's head to Clemson, where the 11 seed Clemson hosts this one. They'll have to face South Carolina Upstate. And with the other two teams, we got Northwestern and Kentucky. And Tammy started off for us.
Yeah, Clemson. Wow. Clemson, they're a young team, but they are rolling right now. Maddie Moore, 16 home runs, 64 RBIs. They've had 5 trips with their 5th straight. They were the champs of the ACC. So I'm going with Clemson. Northwestern, maybe. Yeah, give them a little bit of a challenge. I know the records aren't, don't show well, but they are a young team. I do know that. So, but they're rolling right now. That's my pick, Clemson.
Yeah, I'm not too familiar with with most of the teams in this bracket, but I'm gonna go with Clemson. Gotta go with the host.
Yeah, last year I did not know what USCS or USC-US was or whatever they call themselves. I had to look it up last year. So Upstate's back in the bracket. Congrats to them. They made it back. They won their conference, the Big South. I don't really think that they prepared themselves at all for this. So I do not think they get past Clemson. Clemson's a very good team, as Anthony mentioned. I'm not going to say much more besides a 44-12 record is something to note, regardless of who you are. So I think Clemson makes out of this one. I think, yeah, I agree with the Northwestern look there. I would say watch out for Northwestern. but I still think Clemson gets it done for me as well. All right, next up, we head to Lubbock, which has number 12, Texas Tech hosting. They have to face Brown in the first game. And the other two games, we got Washington and Mississippi State. And Tammy started off for us.
Nija Kennedy. Is that how you say her name?
Yeah, I think so.
Yep. She's gonna, she's brutal. It's the picture there. They won the Big 12 tourney. The Texas Tech is who I'm referring to. Now they haven't been since 2019. But 45-12 record. Brown is there. It's their first trip since 1997. So
that was like 50 years ago.
What's that?
That was like 50 years ago.
So Texas Tech, I'm getting tongue-tied on that one, is going to pull this out. Coach is excited. He's excited about it. And I think they're going to do well.
All right.
Yeah. No, that pitcher from Texas Tech, last name is what? Kennedy,
I think is how you say it.
You think so?
She's a stud. She was good when she was at Stanford. They didn't have a team around her. She transferred from Stanford.
Oh, that's the same girl?
Yeah, she's been this far before, with Stanford. Didn't have a team around her. She transferred. I don't know why she picked Texas Tech, but
it worked out.
Yeah, so it's working out pretty good for her, but she is a stud. So, I think, the softball is fun. It's funny because it's that one sport where if you have one good pitcher, you can ride that pitcher the whole tournament, the whole thing. And she has that potential. They had that potential with her to do that. So I have Texas Tech.
Yeah, there's not much more to say. Yeah, you mentioned Candy. Is that how we say it?
Her last name.
Yeah, is that how we're going with?
It's Nija. Nija's her first name.
We'll go with Nija. We'll just call her Nija.
Yeah.
We'll avoid the last name. Yeah, she's been killing it. Texas Tech has been killing it. I mean, they've been rolling teams and they've been doing it on the down low. And no one's really been talking about the Red Raiders at all this season. I think they just roll through this bracket. I don't think there's going to be any really competition. Mississippi State had a pretty solid opponents there. Same with Washington, but I just don't think they're enough there for the Red Raiders. So give me Texas Tech moving on pretty easily for that. So that means we head to Tucson with a 13 seed University of Arizona host. They have to face Santa Clara in the first game, where the other teams are GCU and Ole Miss. Let's hear it, Aunt Tammy.
Yeah, this is a tough bracket. That Grand Canyon, they're the champs of that WAC, I think. Savannah Hunt, 46-6. Of course, the Wildcats. They've been 8-time national champs. Gosh, I have Arizona picked, but a crazy thing. I think Grand Canyon could pull this out. And that would be okay with me because I know how Arizona and ASU rivals. So, I think I'm going to go with the upset in this one and go with Grand Canyon. I'm going against my original pick at the moment.
It's not going to be an upset if I pick it too. I got GCU winning this one.
Man.
I'll never, but GCU is actually a good team. Yeah. They're playing well. They've had a good season, and I just always like to pick against UVA, so it just makes it a little more fun. Another local school there in Phoenix.
I like it.
Just a short drive down to Tucson, so I think that's the travel's not going to be an issue for them, and I think they come out on top of the regional.
I just want to clarify: we did not have any discussion before we recorded. I mean, we talked for half an hour before we recorded, and that was pretty much it. But it wasn't even about this; it was just about personal stuff. I also got GCU for very similar reasons.
I call them my sleeper pick.
They are a sleeper pick. No one's talking about them.
Yep.
I've seen them because they've been at the Arizona and the ASU hosted events to start out the season. So I got to watch those teams play against some of the bigger teams that those teams got got paired up against. And GCU did very well. 6 losses on the year. They won their conference. They beat up on teams that they probably should not have beat up on. I think GCU is a very good, underrated team. U of A, yes, has that history behind them. And no, not because I'm an ASU fan, I'm not going to pick them. I think GCU actually has a legitimate chance to get out of this bracket. They're close to home. They don't have to worry about the travel. It's going to be all GCU. I think the Lopes win it. I don't think Arizona does anything close. Give me the Lopes in a landslide.
Oh, GCU!
Yeah, go Lopes, baby.
Woo!
All right, that means we'll move on to the 14 seed Duke hosting the Durham regional. They'll have to face Howard in the first matchup. The other 2 teams, we got Georgia and Coastal Carolina. And Tammy, start it off.
Oh man, another one. I have Duke checked. Cassidy Curd, is there in the circle. She's their pitcher. Again, 5 trips, 4 straight. But you know what? I have a tendency. Coastal Carol, is it Coastal? Yeah, Coastal Carolina. The first time since 2012. It could be an upset. So I had Duke, and then I went to Coastal. So I think I'm going to just go with Coastal as another upset.
The Chanticleer is moving on. What do you got, Dad?
You know what? This is one I'm not too familiar with. I haven't seen any of these teams play at all this year. I haven't really done much research on this bracket here. But I do know a couple guys that will never pick against Georgia. And you know what? I think in honor of them, Georgia Keenan, I'm picking the Dogs.
Go Dogs.
Go Dogs. Coming out of the regional.
Shout out Keenan and George. We love you guys. Yeah. All right. So, Dad, you got Georgia there. This is odd because I don't have either of those teams that you guys picked. I got Duke. I'm going with the host in this one. Yes, it is a safe pick. Duke actually has a pretty solid team this year. But with all you picking Georgia, you picking Coastal Carolina, who knows? Maybe Howard is the one that makes it out of this bracket at this point. So I think anything could go. But give me the Blue Devils.
Yeah, they have Anna Gould. And she's good. I think it's good. And Tessa, I could be shooting myself in the foot here, but oh well, I'll go with it.
I think there's a good chance any one of these teams makes it out based off of how we're all talking them up. But for me, I'm gonna give me the Blue Devils. So we'll move on to the 15 seed Alabama hosting the Tuscaloosa Regional. They'll face Jackson State. The other 2 teams, we got Belmont and Virginia Tech. And Tammy, what you got?
Let's see. Give me just a second. On this one, I had Alabama as my pick. 4 trips in the last 5 years. I mean, I have a tendency to lean toward either first time trips, like Belmont. And so I just think about the excitement. And so I was kind of torn between Alabama and Belmont, but I think I'll stick with Alabama on this one.
All right.
Yeah. I'm also going with Alabama just based on the history there.
Yeah.
So I like Belmont actually to be a potential sleeper pick as well. I actually really like the Hokies. 41-11 this season. ACC doesn't get a lot of respect based off of how the Big Ten and the SEC looks. They kind of went under the radar. Not a lot of people talking about them. They've been in the top 25 all season long. Alabama has kind of been in and out of the top 25, ends up hosting a region. I'm actually kind of surprised that they hosted based off of some of the other teams that were in this tournament. Yeah. So for that being said, my initial pick is Alabama, but I'm officially picking the Hokies. I got Virginia Tech with the upset. I think they actually had a legit record that they could have actually hosted a region. So I think Virginia Tech gives Alabama a run for their money and they make it out of this one. But that one I could see going both ways, but give me Virginia Tech.
Virginia Tech, 41-11. That's a great record.
All right, we head to the last region, Eugene, where Oregon hosts this one. They'll have to face Weber State, where the other 2 teams are Stanford and Binghamton. And Tammy, what you got?
Yeah, I'm going with the Oregon Ducks. Big Ten champs, 25 trips. 5 straight, 19-3 in the Big Ten. Um, you know, Stanford has a very good record as well. But
I feel so disappointed.
I'm gonna go with the Ducks. No, I'm gonna go with the Ducks. Because we got two good teams there. I was kind of on the fence, but I'm gonna go with the host team.
Yeah, I like Oregon too. They're hosting it. They like to score in bunches, it seems like, So I'm going with Oregon.
Yeah, they have some of the most lopsided wins this season. And actually in history of either Oregon softball or some NCAA records as well. So they are not afraid to score. So watch out for Oregon scoring. I think it's a very easy region for the Ducks. I think the Ducks make it out. No problem at all. I think they could probably sweep the whole weekend as a whole. And I think they got a very generous 3 other teams that they could be facing there too. So but that wraps up our 16 teams making it out. So let's head into super regionals because that starts on the 22nd, which that is the next weekend. So instead of doing another episode, let's just make our picks right now on our predictions. So Aunt Tammy, you have Texas A&M versus Oregon. The winner of that going to the World Series. Who do you think wins it?
Texas A&M and Oregon.
Bro, silent your cell phone, please.
It is down.
I don't know then. Sounded like it came from right there.
Oh.
It doesn't bother me. It's all good. What you got?
Whoa. Let's go with Texas A&M.
All right. A&M making it out. They go to the World Series for your bracket. Dad, you have the same matchup, and I have the same matchup.
A&M.
All right. I think it's actually a little bit closer than some people think. I also got A&M. I think A&M edges them out just a little bit there, especially because it's a 3-game set. But I think Oregon does take one of those games.
They'll be crying again.
For the Ducks?
Yeah.
I mean, that's typical. They don't win national championships. That's all right. That's just in their nature. We'll move on. The next one, Norman and Tuscaloosa. The winners of those, we face each other. So it's Oklahoma versus Alabama for both Aunt Tammy and Dad. What do you got?
Oklahoma.
OU. It would be OU for me against Virginia Tech. I got OU as well. I think the Sooners make it to the World Series and get a potential chance at 5 straight national championships, which I don't know if any major sport has ever done that. I'll have to look that up, but I've never heard of a major sport team winning 5 national championships in a row. So I'll look that up if that is true.
UCLA basketball had like 10 in a row.
Oh, did they really?
Yeah, back when Wooden was coaching.
Why didn't you stop me then?
Huh?
Why didn't you stop me? All right, we'll move on. Gainesville versus Durham. You have Florida versus Coastal Carolina.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I think I have to go with Florida. Although, yeah, Florida.
All right. Dad, you have Georgia and Florida. That's a good rivalry right there. What do you got?
It is, but
if you're doing it for the boys,
I am doing it for the boys, but Florida's gonna win.
No, they love your first half hour. They don't like your second half hour.
That's fine. That's fine.
For me, I have Florida versus Duke, and I think because of the insecurity of what's going to be coming out of the Durham regional, I'm going to take the security blanket of Florida moving on. So I got Florida in this one. The next one we would have Fayetteville versus Tucson. You have GCU and Arkansas.
Oh, GCU.
All right, the Lopes make it out. Dad, you have Oklahoma State and GCU.
Oklahoma State.
All right, I have Arkansas and GCU, and I got the same idea as Aunt Tammy. Give me the Lopes. I got GCU. If they make it this far, I think it's riding that wave. They make it to the World Series. So I got GCU. The next one would be Tallahassee versus Lubbock. And Tammy, you got Florida State versus Texas Tech. Actually, all 3 of us do.
Texas Tech.
Red Raiders. All right, Dad.
Yeah, I really like Florida State, but the pitching from Texas Tech, you just can't. I think pitching is so important in softball, and I think, like I said, you could ride that pitcher, especially on Super Regional. So I've got Texas Tech.
All right. Yeah, I got Texas Tech as well. You mentioned it. Pitching can take you the whole way, and they have some of the best pitching in the nation. So give me the Red Raiders as well. The next one we have is Austin versus Clemson. You have Texas versus Clemson. What did you pick, Dad? Did you pick Texas to win or UCF?
Texas.
Texas. Okay, so we all have Texas and Clemson in this one.
Clemson.
Clemson, okay.
Cool. I got
Yep.
Texas.
Texas for you?
Mhm.
Yeah, I got Texas as well. But I like the Clemson thing. I like kind of going down the limb there for that one. The next one, we have Knoxville versus Baton Rouge. It would be Tennessee versus LSU for you.
Yeah, Tennessee. That's an easy one.
Ooh.
Tennessee.
Tennessee, Nebraska for Dad.
Tennessee.
Tennessee. I have Ohio State and LSU, and I'm going to go Ohio State. I know it's a little bit of a, you could call it a homer pick if you want. I don't care. I think if they're going to beat a team like Tennessee, I don't think LSU is much of an opponent there at that point. So I think Ohio State gets it done. The last of the super regionals and the last spot in our College World Series for all of us, the Columbia versus the LA regionals. You have South Carolina and UCLA. Also, Dad, you have that as well. I have South Carolina versus Arizona State. So what do you got for your last pick?
Wow. Oh man, just the history is forcing me to go to UCLA. Let's go. You know what? I'm gonna go with South Carolina.
Gamecocks.
Yeah,
UCLA.
yeah, probably.
UCLA.
UCLA.
You notice I'm writing down all of our picks here for future reference and just kind of like just to see what it's the only one I haven't written down yet. I don't know what to do. I pick with my heart, and if ASU makes it to the super regionals, do I just go, yeah, ASU's winning
You
it?
know what? If they're gonna beat UCLA, they can beat South Carolina.
That's also kind of how I'm thinking about it. Or do I take the security blanket of, hey, regardless, South Carolina gets it done?
Excuse me.
I think you're right. I think I gotta, as I mentioned earlier, I gotta ride with my girls. I'm going with ASU.
All right.
I think ASU gets back to the promised land of the College World Series, and I think they dethrone Oklahoma potentially, but we won't get too far ahead. I think they get it done though in the Super Regionals against South Carolina. It's a tough pick, I will say though, but I think if they get to that point, you're right. They beat UCLA, they could beat a team like South Carolina. So that is my pick. But real quick, before we end the episode, we could come back and change our pick. So we might be doing another episode once the College World Series is set. We'll make our official picks there. But of our teams that we have here, who are your early picks for the College World Series? Games have not started. We'll just see if you keep on riding with this team for the rest of the tournament. So, Aunt Tammy, we'll start off with you. Who's your team that you think is a ride or die national championship?
That they're gonna go all the way?
Yeah.
You know, I don't know why, but I think probably Texas A&M. I know they came in as a number 1 seed. I mean, but it's a tough one because a close second is the Vols, and then I like GCU.
Yeah.
But anyway, those are my picks.
I can pick 5 different teams.
I know. I picked the first one.
Whoa, I love 1 through 16. One of them's gonna win for me.
Texas A&M.
A&M pick was the official pick. I got that one.
Yeah.
My ride or die this year is Tennessee.
Tennessee.
I want to see someone new, someone different, first timers too.
A&M would be different. I mean, it's been Oklahoma forever.
Yeah.
A&M would be different, and then not having Florida State in there would be
or Texas. Too. Yeah. I think those 3 teams.
Tennessee. Sure. Tennessee is gonna win it this year.
Yeah.
I think that's a solid pick.
That's a good pick.
They're a solid all around team. They got good pitching, hit the ball, they field well. So I see them.
Yeah, can they win
that's a great pick.
Yeah.
That's what it's gonna come down to. Can they win a best of 3? For me, there's a lot of teams I'd like to pick. I don't like the security or the the security of a number one recently of the whole season. Their number one teams just haven't done all that great. They've lost to teams that they shouldn't have. So A&M kind of scares me picking them as a national champion. It's hard not to pick Oklahoma because they keep on winning, but this team is not as strong as the last couple of teams. Not at all.
That's
so
the same Oklahoma.
I think it's a safe pick to not go with Oklahoma. But yet again, if they win it, I'd be like, oh shit, they're doing something right over there. I mean, they're a good squad. They recruit well. It's just not the same Oklahoma team we've seen the last couple of years. So I don't want to pick Oklahoma. Florida, good team. GCU, I think, is a silent killer potentially. Texas, I cannot ride with Texas. I just don't think they'll get it done when it comes to softball. ASU, I'd love to pick them, but no, let's just be real here. They're not winning national championship. Ohio State, same with them. They'd be a good team. They're not winning it, which means my last team that I have here, Texas Tech. I got Texas Tech as my ride or die team. I think the Big 12 is very underrated. No one talks about it. It might be the third best Power 4 team or conference in the nation. And I think that's going to help them. You already mentioned pitching is going to ride a couple of these teams. I think Texas Tech might be one of those teams that pitching rides. So I got the Red Raiders as my potential ride or die team. I think I'm gonna go with them. So hard for the Red Raiders.
Nice. All right.
Any final last comments you guys did not mention that you guys want to?
No, just it's going to be that fun time of year again, right? When it's just kind of, when all these conference tournaments come in, all these big tournaments come in the year, I love it, because it's like all softball all the time. It's one of my favorite sports to watch, ever since watching you play, that's probably why I like watching college softball. I like it way more than watching college baseball or even pro baseball. I'd prefer to watch college softball. It's fun, it's fast, exciting. I like it.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And it's just an exciting time, having played before at that caliber. It's just an exciting time to just be in that environment.
We didn't pick Cal Poly.
Yeah, they didn't show up on the list, or I would have.
Still pick them. They could be a ride or die.
Yeah. So it's just a fun time. It's great to see these young players, and I mean, some of the stats today are just kind of unbelievable to see. So yeah, it's going to be some good ball to watch for sure.
Yeah. For me, I don't know how I did not mention her. I think it's the best and scariest hitter in the NCAA, Arkansas's Bree Ellis. They do not pitch to her. If you guys ever watch a game of Arkansas, they don't pitch to her. She has 58 walks this season.
Wow.
She's on base 649 times out of 100 or out of 1,000. That's her percentage this year. She's batting 475, 26 home runs. She's the active leader in NCAA home runs. I don't know how I forgot to mention her when we were talking about Arkansas, but big shout out. I think that's my player to watch this tournament. Let's see how teams are going to pitch to her, if they pitch to her.
Right. They're going to intentional walking.
We'll have to occasionally. I mean, you're going to have to.
Conference tournament, bases loaded. You're not going to walk in a run, are you? When you're trying to win one game, she hits a grand slam. That's the reason why you don't pitch to her. She's just one of the best and scariest hitters in the NCAA. So big shout out, Bree Ellis. It's a player I'm going to watch for sure. But Texas Tech, definitely going to watch out. But yeah, you guys summed it up perfectly. College softball is so much fun. I think it's also more exciting than college baseball most of the time. And I love going to those games in person when I was at ASU. So it sucks I didn't get to watch any of them this year because of me graduating in December. So I missed the season, but I try to watch as much as I can because I think it's just exciting. It's just one of those sports you just put on. You follow a team, you follow a weekend of a good series, because it seems like every weekend there's good series to watch. Top 25 matchups, SEC going against the Big Ten, going against the ACC, regardless of who it is. It's always good matchup. So it's going to be fun softball this weekend. So make sure you guys definitely tune in. Games start on Friday morning. I think as early as like 10 o'clock in the morning are some of these games. I'll put up the first game time on the screen for you guys. But yeah, very early matchups going all the way up till Sunday potentially for this. Plus the super regionals are the following weekend. Same kind of matchups, Friday, Saturday, Sunday for those. So make sure you guys tune in. It's going to be all on ESPN channel. So if you have ESPN, ESPN Plus, you're going to be able to watch all the games. So check out that because it's going to be a lot of fun this upcoming weekend. But any final comments? Any sign-offs for you guys?
No, that's it.
No, I don't have anything more. The thing about softball is what you notice, the reason why you guys like it so much is because it's all about fundamentals.
Yeah.
That's not 3 hours.
Fundamentals. What'd you say?
I like it because it's not 3 hours long.
Right.
That's another positive there. All right, guys. Well, thank
All
you
right.
guys for listening. Make sure you guys like, subscribe. Let us know in the comments who's your ride or die team. Do you think some of our upsets are good or bad? Let us know down, and we'll discuss in the comments down below. We appreciate you guys so much for listening, watching, everything you guys do for the channel. We appreciate it so much. Make sure you guys watch some college softball and have an amazing rest of your week. We'll see you guys later.